too, man.
It's cold. Jason has his stocking hat on. I'm in the office and I have my coat on, my USA Mortgage coat on. So, but it's good. Life is good. It's November. It's still staying steady, Jason. For I mean, I feel like it's more of a normal fall. Right. But every real estate agent I talk to all over the state of Wisconsin and even the Midwest, it's still steadier than normal. Like we typically see a slowdown this time of year because people, well, let's be honest, nobody wants to move in the winter unless you have to. Yeah, and that's kind of always been our industry in the Midwest, especially the upper Midwest, where we are. It's been, oh, it's cold, I don't want to move, and people talk about the spring market all the time and things like that. What I've been really trying to do, and I know you guys are doing the same thing with your team, is if somebody there's a lot of frustrated buyers this past summer, Jason, because there's no inventory. I'm not saying there's a lot more inventory out there, but there seems to be maybe a little less competition per house now. I mean, we might have seen 10 offers on a house before. Now we might just see 1 or 2. I don't know if that's exactly what you're seeing, Jason, but I don't want people to give up on the American dream, you know?
Right. And there's two sides to the coin too, because I mean, rates are low right now, but they're going up.
Yep.
And with the low inventory, as the rates begin to go up, the market's going to become more saturated.
Right.
So for sellers, you know, their all-time high is like right now.
Yep.
6 months from the road, we don't know what it's going to be, but if rates keep on going up, that's not going to be a good, kind of common ground with buyers and sellers. So, it's finicky right now for sure, and it's
and what low rates really do, they allow you to buy more and keep your payment the same. I mean, I don't know if anybody really, some people don't think about that like you and I do, but that's truly what a lower interest rate does. You might be able to buy a $250,000 house at 3% interest, but at 4% interest, your debt to income ratio only allows you to buy a $200,000 house at 4% interest. So that's what's really driven this in market. Inflation is happening. You know, you hear on the news all the time, oh, Americans are making more money than ever. Well, it's more expensive to live now than ever either. So that's what inflation is. I mean, that's just the real basic 101 inflation. Cost of living, what you're paying me, you know, and I don't know if we're getting ahead, but we're sure swimming hard.
We're like the duck with, you look calm on the top and then the pedaling like that on the bottom.
Yeah, underneath the water, your legs are kicking just like crazy. Moving. But you're just doing the doggy paddle where everybody can see. So, but what I really focus on this time of year is to stay in touch with my clients that are looking to buy. The spring market is real. That is still ingrained into our heads where people get tax return money, and now they have some confidence to go out there and do that. And that's where, we've closed 200 loans this year, my team, and we're on pace with last year so far. I don't know if my November and December last year was crazy, stupid, busy.
Nonstop.
I think December was like one of my busiest months of the year, and that's just unheard of.
Well, and it brings up a good point too. What you were kind of rewinding back. I mean, we have, our database now is probably 1,400 leads, and the year that I've kind of been using the systems that we've been using, 1,400 leads. A lot of those people were pre-approved with maybe you or another lender at the beginning of May,
right?
And they didn't find the home in the summertime, so. For me, as kind of a listing specialist, my objective is to reach out to sellers and say, hey, we have these 3 or 4 buyers already here.
Right.
And we understand that, nobody likes to go in and out of their house to show their house 50 times in a weekend, so if I think I brought this up last talk or, in one of the talks that I recently had online, but you have 3 or 4 buyers, and if they're motivated enough and bring that cash to the table at a price that it's like, heck, we don't even have to take this to the market and we can get that. That's kind of where it's a win-win for the buyer and the seller because both are walking away happy.
Right.
Right. And like you have that buyer that disappears for 6 months and he works with 5 or 6 different agents just kind of shopping around versus working with a dedicated agent such as Amy, leading you and showing properties and making sure that they're active. It's very important at this moment in time.
Well, when you stay with an agent, they know what you're looking for, and a lot of times, stuff they'll know when something's going to hit the market in a couple of days, and maybe you can get an inside track on something like that. So that's what's nice about having a buyer's agent, and sticking with them. And a lot of times a buyer, I get a lot of first-time home buyers that want a zero down loan, easily qualify for them. These zero down loans doesn't mean you're poor, doesn't mean you have bad credit. Actually, you need better credit to qualify for a zero down loan than you do for like an FHA loan. You have to have 3.5% down, where the zero loan downs are the toughest ones to qualify for, because you have to have better credit. You have to have better history of making payments on time, and that obviously affects your credit score.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they think, well, now, I got a zero down low, I got to pay for a realtor. No, you don't. That realtor, the seller pays the realtor at closing. That's how that transaction.
Exactly.
I like to explain that to people. Then you say, well, we want to live in 30 miles of Algoma. We got to have 3 bedrooms. I got to have at least 1 car garage. And then if those are just your absolute like non-negotiables, you tell your agent that, and that's what they look for. And they don't show you anything but that, or they might say, well, I know this doesn't have the 1 car garage, but man, it fits all the other boxes. And then you and your, if it's your just house or your family guys, then you have to decide, well, are we going to suck it up and we're going to build a garage next summer or whatever?
Yeah. And as a team leader with AbsoluteLakeMichigan.com, what we do is, we'll have a board of the 7 or 8 sellers that I have in my pipeline with the descriptions of the properties. And then we match those with the leads that we have coming into our systems as well. So those phone calls can be made in real time. Say, hey, we have a potential house. I call the potential seller, say, hey, a lead just came in from Realtor.com and we think we might have a match.
Yep.
You're right. So would you mind if I tour the property or whatever it may be, and then you kind of take it from there. But those are the opportunities that we look for our clients that really gives us an edge to get the home of their dreams at a quicker and, more reasonable price at the end of the day.
And from a mortgage perspective, if you can answer your phone and emails, we can have you pre-approved in 24 hours. We need proof of income. So either pay stubs the last 30 days and W-2s the last 2 years, or like a social security statement or a pension statement proving that you have monthly income. Going to pull your credit, copy of your driver's license just to verify who you are for identity purposes, and some bank statements, just the last couple months from the accounts that you use if you are putting money down or showing we have a couple months of reserves in there. So it's not scary. It's easy to do it. And literally 24 hours, we can get a very solid, good pre-approval. And that's what makes it fun, Jason, anymore.
It does.
We can move fast.
I just want to bring up too, we try to keep this very community oriented, but at the end of the day, we find that a lot of people are just not educated the way that they should be to take ownership of an actual home.
Yep.
It's just it's that step of taking it forward and just, kind of unraveling the outcome. And it always sorts itself out. There's so many people that we encounter, Jason, that are, oh my gosh, I'll never qualify for a home. Well, when was the last time that you attempted?
Yep.
Right. And you find out that it was 5-6 years ago because they might have had, a situation where they've, had a lien on their house or had, some circumstances that came up, a divorce or whatever it may be. Something got in the way of them actually making that next step to home ownership. So, like working with a team like ours and, a lender such as Jason, we're going to put you in the best possible position to really find out the steps necessary to get you to the finish line into that home that you're looking for. And you're right. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be 2 weeks away, but as long as you're progressively moving forward, that's all that matters.
Yep. No, 100%, 100%. And then another thing too, is like, when you want Chinese food, you go to a Chinese restaurant, right? When you want Mexican food, you go to a Mexican restaurant. Too many people get their mortgage advice and their realtor advice from Uncle Bill, who's a plumber. And I'm sure Uncle Bill's a hell of a plumber, Jason.
Yeah.
But unless he is, and I said that to people. So, you're a licensed loan officer. You passed the NMLS exam? And then they kind of go, okay, smart ass, But I'm like, seriously, this is what I do every single day of my life. I don't do car loans. I don't want your checking account. Mortgage is my life. Mortgage is all I do. And we've seen, I don't want to say we've seen everything because I don't want to get tested today, but you know what I'm trying to say. So
you have to update your credentials today.
Yep.
We're going to get an alert over your way. We'll make sure of that.
So, well, but from what, like, how many listings do you have right now? Like, do
I
you have any closings coming up? What do
I
you?
have 3 active listings right now.
Okay.
I have for those people in Sturgeon Bay, I just sold a home. It's closing on Friday, but it's going to be a record-breaking sale for that neighborhood of about 500 homes in that area. And we do have about 4 or 5 buyers that were interested in that property that we initially got under contract into the closing table. So if there's anybody in Sturgeon Bay looking to sell, I would say a 2+ to 4 bed, 1,200 square feet to 2,200 square feet or so. We have those buyers on deck. So we can present those to you and come up with a strategy if the timing is right. But so we have that on closing on Friday, and then it looks like I have 7 or 8 listings in the pipeline coming up within the next 90 days.
Got it. I think that's awesome. So
excuse me.
I got to jump in the car and head to my next appointment, Jason, but I love doing these calls. I guess we love doing this because we're real people. Pick up the phone, give us a call. If you have a friend, a family member, a coworker, anybody that could use some mortgage advice or just wants to talk to somebody or thinking about selling or thinking about buying, just get a hold of Jason. We're not trying to hammer you. We just want to be your friend and help you make the best decision for the biggest decision in your life, because buying a house, and like I said, unless you have one of them fancy boats on Lake Michigan, buying a house is going to be one of the most expensive things you'll ever buy in your life.
That's the truth. It was a surreal feeling. I was driving to a walkthrough yesterday, Jason, and I had the radio on, and I heard my own voice on the radio ad. I was like, oh gosh. 102.1, guys. I'm on their 30-second segment, and yeah, I was like, oh gosh, there I am. That was the first time I heard it, but I've had a couple of texts from friends, throughout the day, like, I just heard you on the radio.
And they're like, how did you get on the radio?
Hey, they call me. Well, I took it in 2 takes too. They
like that when you can roll in there and do that.
Out. They were like, "Wow, that was cool." I was like, "All right, well," but it has a timestamp on it, so I have to go re-record at the beginning of December.
Yep. So hey, we're gonna end our broadcast, but I gotta ask you one quick question off air, and I just put the link to AbsoluteLakeMichigan.com. It's a website to get a hold of Jason and/or myself. So cool. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody. Stay warm.
Cool. See you guys. Bye.